Shanda Renée Sharer was born on June 6, 1979, in Pineville, West Virginia. She was a quiet, gentle child with a soft voice and a deep emotional sensitivity that made her feel things more strongly than most people her age. As a young girl, she liked writing letters, listening to music, and imagining what her future might look like. She was not loud or rebellious. She did not cause trouble. She simply wanted to feel safe, wanted to feel chosen, and wanted to belong to someone who cared about her. Shanda's childhood was not easy. Her parents separated when she was young, and she moved with her mother, Jacqueline, several times before settling in New Albany, Indiana. Jacqueline loved her daughter deeply but struggled financially and emotionally, doing the best she could under difficult circumstances. Shanda often felt lonely, especially at school, where she found it hard to fit in. She was small for her age and shy around other kids, which sometimes made her a target for teasing. Even so, she remained kind. Teachers describe her as polite and quiet. She was the kind of child who trusted easily and believed people when they were nice to her. In late 1991, Shanda met a girl named Amanda Heverin. Amanda was older, more confident, and seemed to understand Shanda in a way that made her feel seen. Their relationship quickly became intense and emotional. For Shanda, it felt like love. She wrote letters, made phone calls, and invested her heart fully. What she didn't know was that Amanda had recently ended a relationship with another girl, a girl named Melinda Lovelace. Melinda Lovelace was very different from Shanda. She was angry, aggressive, and deeply disturbed. Melinda had grown up in an environment filled with neglect, violence, and emotional abuse. From a young age, she showed signs of cruelty toward animals and other children. She often talked about hurting people and had violent fantasies that frightened those around her. Instead of receiving consistent mental health treatment, Melinda moved through life largely unchecked, her anger growing more intense over time. When Melinda found out about Shanda and Amanda, something inside her snapped. She felt betrayed, humiliated, and replaced. But instead of directing her anger toward Amanda, she focused it entirely on Shanda. In her mind, Shanda was the enemy, the one who had stolen what belonged to her. Melinda began talking obsessively about revenge. She told friends that Shanda needed to be punished. What started as jealousy quickly turned into something far more dangerous. Melinda was not alone. She surrounded herself with other girls who were vulnerable in their own ways. Lori Tackett struggled with severe mental illness and wanted desperately to be accepted. Hope Rippey was easily influenced and eager to belong. Tony Lawrence followed along, not fully understanding the depth of what was being planned. Together, they formed a toxic group where violence was encouraged, not questioned. The more they talked, the more extreme the ideas became. Over time, harming Shanda stopped being a thought and became a plan. On the night of January 10, 1992, Shanda was told she would be picked up to hang out. There was no reason for her to be afraid. She trusted them. She put on her shoes, grabbed her jacket, and quietly left her home, believing she would be back soon. That moment, walking out the door, was the last normal moment of her life. When Shanda got into the car, the atmosphere quickly changed. The questions started almost immediately. Accusations, insults, threats. Shanda was confused and scared. She asked what she had done wrong. She tried to explain. She tried to calm them down. But the decision had already been made. The car drove on, farther away from safety, deeper into darkness. They stopped at a remote location. Shanda was pulled from the car and beaten. She was slapped, punched, and kicked. She cried and begged them to stop. She said she was sorry, even though she didn't fully understand what she was apologizing for. The violence escalated. She was strangled with a rope until she nearly lost consciousness. Then they stopped, not out of mercy, but to continue later. The night became a cycle of movement and torture. They drove to different places, dragging Shanda out each time to continue the assault. She was burned with cigarettes. Her clothes were torn. She was stabbed repeatedly with a knife. Each time she screamed, they mocked her. Each time she begged, they laughed. At moments, some of the girls hesitated, but no one stopped what was happening. Fear, loyalty, and peer pressure kept them moving forward. At one point, Shanda managed to break free and tried to run. Injured, barefoot, and terrified, She ran into the darkness, believing with everything she had that she could still survive. But she was caught. What followed was even worse. Her attempt to escape only increased their rage. She was beaten again, more severely than before. Her body was failing, but she was still alive, still conscious, still hoping. As the hours passed, Shanda grew weaker. Her voice became quieter. Her movement slowed. She asked simple questions. Why are you doing this? Questions that had no answers. Eventually, they drove her to a dump site near Louisville, Kentucky. By then, Shanda could barely stand. Gasoline was poured over her body. Even at that moment, she begged. She promised she wouldn't tell anyone. She promised she would disappear. She wanted to live. They set her on fire. Shanda Sharer was burned alive. Her screams filled the night until they stopped. When it was over, her body was left behind, discarded as if her life had no value. The girls drove away and went home. Some laughed. Some acted like nothing had happened. One even went to a party. The next day, Shanda was reported missing. Her mother knew immediately that something was wrong. When Shanda's remains were found, the truth shocked the entire nation. Investigators described it as one of the most horrific crimes they had ever seen. It was clear that this was not a moment of rage. It was hours of intentional torture. The investigation moved quickly. Witnesses came forward. Stories didn't match. Pressure mounted. Eventually, all 4 girls were arrested. During questioning, details emerged that were almost impossible to hear. The medical examiner testified that Shanda had been alive for most of the torture. The courtroom was silent as each detail was described. Because of the severity of the crime, Melinda Loveless was tried as an adult. Lori Tackett's mental illness became a central issue in court. Hope Rippey and Tony Lawrence were also held accountable for their roles. Sentences were handed down, but none of them could bring Shanda back. Shanda's mother listened to every detail. She carried the weight of knowing exactly how her daughter died. Her grief became permanent. She spoke publicly, not out of anger, but to make sure people understood who Shanda really was. A child, not a headline. Decades later, the case of Shanda Sharer is still remembered as one of the most disturbing examples of youth violence in American history. It raises questions that still have no easy answers. How does hatred grow this deep? How do warning signs get missed? How does a group of teenagers become capable of such cruelty? Shanda Sharer did not deserve what happened to her. She deserved to grow up. She deserved love, safety, and a future. Telling her story is not about reliving horror. It is about remembering her humanity. Because when we forget victims, we allow the violence to happen again. And Shanda should never be forgotten.